Good afternoon, everyone. Scott Nelson, Minnesota State Athletics. Joining us today for Men's Hockey Media Availability, head coach Mike Hastings. Coach Hastings will start with a opening comment, and from there, members of the media, we ask that you please raise your hand and unmute yourself, and we'll call on you for your questions. Coach Hastings.
First of all, thanks for being here. We're excited about finally getting back home with 4 consecutive games, 2 at Northern and 2 at ASU. The guys are happy that they're not having to pack their bags and get on a bus or a plane to play this weekend. It was a good start to our second half so far. The environment, the rink at ASU, I think is something that's special for college hockey. It was a great trip for us, able to connect with some of our alumni that are out there, as well as some of the administration. A lot of the families traveled out there also. So it was a good weekend all the way around, and now we're excited about playing back at home against Lake Superior State.
Don, we'll start with you.
Coach had the opportunity to take both games and you always talk about those games early and late in a period. I think it was big both nights. Obviously, Grohl's goal on Friday, but just wondering from your perspective, is that point even more magnified when you're on the road, taking the wind out of the arena and those other teams? Is that a bigger factor on the road, or is it kind of equal to what you would experience at home, those late period goals, early period goals?
Well, I think they're momentum changers if you take advantage of them or if you squelch them. And, our formula here in the second half hasn't been perfect. We've been behind in 3 of the 4 games where the other team has scored the first goal. I do like how we've reacted to it. I don't want it to become a habit. On Saturday, we found a way to get the first goal, hung on through some real good goaltending by Keenan Rancier on Saturday after we'd gone to the box for a bit. But I like how we've reacted to some of that adversity, and it is important. I think there's opportunities when you can either score or make sure that you're not getting scored on in those last or starts of periods. I think it's really big for momentum.
Kevin?
Mike, you guys have had to sit on this 4-game home losing streak for longer than I think you would like, just with how long this break has been between home games. Do you get the sense that the guys are really up for this weekend to get back home and to have a chance to end that streak?
Yeah, I think they're excited about being at home. One thing that this group's done a really good job of from the time that they left campus after we were swept by Bemidji is turning the page and just moving on to the next. They did a good job at managing their time away from home. They came back in really good shape, really good attitude. The energy's been good for the 2 weeks that we've been together. And right now, their focus has been really on their dailies. And I've been happy with that. We've still got a little bit left here on the bone before we get to Friday night. So that's going to be the focus, us having a good Thursday and trying to set ourselves up for a good weekend. But we all are excited about being at home. It was a little different today, not packing a bag and getting on a plane or getting on a bus and leaving town. So we want to make the best of it.
Carson?
Coach, one key difference already this second half of the season has been your club's ability to win the games on the road, which was obviously tough to come by during the first half of the period or first half of the season. And I think that anybody can look at stats and say that those wins were largely in part to Furry and Borchert and Sandelin and some of those older guys having, breakout games. But being with those guys, have you seen or started to see a shift maybe in mentality or focus or something that, wasn't there the first half of the season that now is starting to come around?
Well, those guys have been trying. Their intentions have been in the right direction. They just, they got off to a little bit of a slow start. But maybe some expectations from themselves being a little too high or maybe the shared responsibility of being a part of a leadership group after the group that walked out the door. But I can tell you right now, their attitudes and their work ethic has been good from the beginning of the year. It's nice to see them be rewarded. Like right now, Ryan Sandelin's consistent day in and day out, practice into the weekends. Brendan Furry's been our best player since our first practice back after the break. You're seeing some secondary scoring from some other guys, Adam Isley, Fitzgerald. It was really good to see Borch get the monkey off his back on Saturday. He drove to the far post and was delivered a puck by Fitzgerald, and that line's starting to gel a little bit. David Cillier's been a guy that's probably been our most consistent forward from start to finish. And when you can start talking about multiples, the veterans, and then some secondary young guys contributing offensively, defensively, and the goaltending that we've been getting from Keenan Rancier, we've become a more difficult out. And hopefully that continues this weekend.
Kevin Dudley.
You mentioned Furry has been your best player since the first practice, second half. Just what have you seen different from him so far since? It's hard to watch these games and not notice him. He's just making a massive impact, it seems, almost every shift.
Skating, he's an elite skater at our level. I think you're going to see that transfer to the next. And when he's moving, he's a load to handle, with and without it. And I just think some renewed confidence. He needed a break. He needed to get back, give himself a little bit of space, go see those that are most important to him, which he did. And he just came back with an attitude of, I'm going to control what I get to control. And he's done that. And his dailies have been very evident. Like I said, his Monday through Thursdays have been very good, and it's transferred to Fridays and Saturdays. And with that, I think you're starting to see him play with a lot more confidence. I wish that's something you could pick up at Walgreens, but you can't. You've got to go earn it, and he's been earning it, and I'm really happy for him because he puts a lot on his own plate. He wants to do so well for so many, and he's really on point at this moment, and I want him to continue to stay there.
Kevin, you got to follow up?
With Furry, I mean, do you feel like when the puck starts to go in, he's got 7 points in his last 3 games. Do you feel like when that kind of starts to happen, it's easier to loosen up a little bit, and when you do start to get paid kind of for all that work you put in?
I think that's a great comment. Getting paid, yeah, he's getting paid. And he's enjoying it. But again, he's earning it. They're not, the breakaway. Do you find a way to get that in the back of the net, or does that add a little bit more stress to you? And he tucked it, and that was as pretty a goal as you're going to see. But he's also okay playing inside the dots, playing in the hard areas. He's okay being the first guy back and defending with an attitude and with a purpose. And to me, with that work, comes confidence. And he's somebody that's doing the right thing every day, and I think he's being rewarded for it.
Carson.
Coach, just wondering if you could give an update on the condition of Simon Tassi heading into this weekend.
Simon's doing great, completely cleared. He's had a fantastic 3 weeks here where, we've been patient just because we want to put him in a position to succeed. And so, we've been following doctor's orders. He's been training like an absolute madman. He works and does extra every single day. He's prepared for the weekend. So I look forward to him having that opportunity.
Kevin.
Carson just took mine. Sorry. That was what I was going to ask, so I'm good.
Anybody else got a question for Coach? Seeing none, we'll let Coach go, and we'll have a player in here in a few minutes. Thanks, Coach Hastings.
Thank you, everybody.